Remember what he told you about coming to his house?
It's not like going to church and you're with some good people and they're talking about how to help each other. In this life, you turn your back, they shoot you in the head, steal your money. Turn your back, they take your wife. These are the fanboys. They think they're part of the life by rioting. You know, and if it's a real killer, trust me, there's a lot of guys that probably want to kill me.
John Alite, we're in your home. Thanks for inviting us in New York. Welcome to the Millennial's Choice Show again.
Thank you. You're from Canada, so I got a lot of Canadian friends. So I gotta invite you in the house.
Shout out
Appreciate
to the Great
that.
White North.
Shout out to the Great White North.
So, you know, this is like, I think the first or second time somebody's been in your home for an interview?
Yeah, we did one on the outside in the lake area. So we didn't actually do it inside.
Beautiful property though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Tell us about, last time we got right into it. We heard about your story. People know who you are. And we didn't really touch on so much of your family and family life today and what it's like. Why don't you tell us about kind of what your family was like during the life and then how it is today compared to what it was back then?
During the life, I grew up around, I did an interview actually a couple of days ago. And one of the women that were interviewing me was a family member I didn't know, of Al Greco. He was a serious killer. He just got out of jail. And my dad knew him well. My uncle, they used to call him Hector. He ran a 3-card Monte game. So they were around guys like him since they were young. I know him since I'm a baby. Guys like Lucky Luciano's first cousin, Charlie Luciano Blackie, is a made guy with the Gambino family. He was also a partner of my uncle Hector's and my father's. They owned nightclubs, bars, one of the biggest rock clubs in Long Island called Hammerheads. So I've been around this life since literally a young baby.
Nice. And what's your family life like today?
I mean, recently I lost my daughter about a year and a half ago with fentanyl, so I'm an advocate against fentanyl and the killing of kids. It's not an overdose. When they're using fentanyl, these kids are using drugs recreationally. They're using it in college to study with Adderall. They're taking diet pills that they're ordering online. They're all dying from fentanyl. I know this government is full of shit. I speak against this government completely, this regime, because they're allowing this to happen through our borders intentionally because of money, because of relationships of kissing ass to a communist regime like China. And, I'm very political. I talk about the Muslim community they have locked up there since 2017, killing them, sterilizing them, genociding them, separating them from families. And this government does nothing about it. No different what they just did, funding Iran with this nonsense of humanitarian help of $10 billion that they just last year were killing Muslim kids all over the street because they wanted freedom. So anybody that doesn't understand politics, I'm very active. And so they're destroying families. And my family, me losing my daughter, I'll never stop talking against fentanyl and anybody that sells it. It's not like selling marijuana or cocaine or any other thing. You're not killing people like this is. This is killing 100 to 200,000 kids a year. They throw that number 100,000, but that's not true. With an autopsy, it's very hard to find the blood content in fentanyl in somebody's body unless you do an autopsy. A lot of these people that are ODing or being murdered or being killed are not. They're not doing autopsy to look for traces of fentanyl.
And you have sons too, right? So our condolences. We said that last time for your daughter, but you have sons as well.
I have 4 sons. I have one in prison also. He'll be out in April. He also was involved in a shooting. So, the biggest pain in life is these things happen to your children. It's one thing, me living that life, me going to prison, me getting shot, stabbed up, and it's another to see your kid suffering and losing a child. You'll never get over that. So anybody that lost a child, they know that.
And do you have grandkids? Are you a papa now?
I have my daughter that passed away. I have her son. He's 6. He's going to be 7. Braden, and he plays a lot of sports, lacrosse, American football, what I call football, soccer, that everybody here still calls soccer, but I call it football and American football. And he's very active. So yeah, I'm involved in his life. I see him every week. So.
Do you feel, sorry, before you jump in, do you feel like it just came up and when you said that it's hard for you to see your kids go through these kinds of things. Do you feel responsible? Like, do you sometimes feel responsible that they saw kind of like, did your son see what you went through and then kind of followed that path? Or like, do you feel responsible at all?
My sons didn't follow this path, actually. My one son tried to, is in prison. Of course, anybody that's in this life or in the streets at all, they got to take responsibility, because our families are going to be broken by the way we live.
Yeah.
Because we're involved in, half the time mentally we're not in the house because we're thinking about a murder we just committed, a shooting we just did, somebody we have to kill in the future, somebody that we're going to rob. So that you constantly, your mind's halfway there only, and then you're exposing the kids to a life with us not being around, in prisons. And if you're really on the street like that, you're going to jail, and it's just not a conducive life to a good family life. And this is one of the reasons why I talk politically the same. The fathers and the mothers are out there. If we don't fight now for our kids, for what's going on in the world, our kids and grandkids are going to have to fight. So if the people and the parents are cowards and don't fight for their children, they're never going to fight for anybody. Because we leave what's going on now to the future, our kids and grandkids will have no future, and they'll be the ones fighting.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
That's the scary part, because it's like we have the power to do that now. But if it gets too late, it gets to a certain point, there's no future.
Well, people like to put their head in the sand and ignore what's really out there. I grew up in this world in the streets, so I understand it, I think, and I see it a lot faster than most people. Other people are too selfish and busy with their personal lives. You got all of us are on YouTubes and podcasts and TV shows. I'm doing movies. And all of us should be talking about what's going on around the world with the freedoms of all our countries.
Yeah.
That's what I like about you, though, because you're very outspoken politically. And I think it's very important to be outspoken about what's going on in the politics, because I think it all affects us, right? Especially with what's happening around the world, the wars and everything, right? What I want to ask you was, do you think other countries right now view the United States as being weak based off of our leader, or your leader in the States?
No, not weak. They're laughing at us.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, everybody knows I'm a Donald Trump person. They've wrote about me in the White House. There's been a lot of, because I've been over Mar-a-Lago several times. And, like Donald Trump or not, he's a strong leader. And all his policies were for America, for the strength of America, whether it's the borders, whether it was financial, whether it was crime. He's a strong leader, and there was no wars under him. There was complete peace. So when people try to, and what they're doing now is third world kangaroo courts, where it's not a fair system. Everybody knows what they're doing. And no matter if you're Democrat, Republican, independent, or from any other country, nobody should be happy with what they're doing. When they're shutting down a candidate's voice and not let the people judge who they want, there goes free society. And, I'm a big fan of his because of what he did.
Do you think, though, Biden right now being the president, do you think it makes America an easy target for these other countries? What do you think?
When you leave soldiers behind in Afghanistan and billions of dollars of property, either you're completely incompetent, stupid, or it was intentional. I think it was a combination of both. He disregards our veterans. We have 44,000 veterans that were living on the street in this country, and he does nothing for them. And he brings immigrants in that are being killed on the way over. They're being raped. Kids are being trafficked. And he says that he's doing it for humanitarian reasons, which is a complete lie. They're giving them, they're bowing down to anything they can do for them because they want the vote. And they don't care about the black communities. They sell them out. They're selling out their school systems. They're selling out the money that we have, a tax money that's going billions of dollars to these illegal immigrants to be going to single mothers in the inner cities, could go to education, health care, the overloading of school, the education system they're hurting, and they're trying to sell bullshit. And I think the black and Spanish and brown communities are waking up to, they're selling us out again. And maybe this election, finally, everybody will wake up and say, they're trying to divide us. Everybody knows I'm a big advocate of the inner city. I grew up there. I have a lot of black and Spanish friends. So my agenda is equality for all Americans. Stop trying to separate us for power, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely want to separate because they know as soon as everyone comes together, that's where they're going to have a tough time, right? being able to, do whatever they want.
Divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer, yeah.
The minute you seen them bowing down for George Floyd, and as somebody buys that bullshit that they give a fuck about George Floyd, you got to really be stupid. They could give a shit if 1,000 George Floyds died. They could give a shit about anybody who's LGBTQ +1 and whatever other symbols they use. They don't care about anybody. I tell everybody the same thing. I care about individual rights. Everybody should be able to do what they want. Stop trying to separate any of them from anybody else, from me to you, from religion, color, country. This is all divisional tactics that I learned in the Mafia. It's Machiavellianism in an extreme. So the more they separate, the more they can conquer. And anybody that buys into this nonsense is just really naive.
And at this point, it's like every few months, there's something else going on. Like, people got to wake up and realize, like,
well, I don't mean to cut you off, but George Soros is funding this. He funded
all
BLM, he funded Antifa, he's funding the Palestinian Hamas thing. He could give a shit about Muslims, he could give a shit about Palestine. If you see who's out screaming in the streets, it's not too many Palestinian people. You see different people out there, white, black, Spanish. They're not Muslims. They're just people that are being funded by Soros to cause havoc and chaos because they're trying to break down a system. And anybody that speaks up for, if anybody wanted to speak up for Muslims, I just brought up, since 2017, 10 million of them are being tortured and killed in China. Where's everybody?
Exactly.
In Iran last year, all my friends and their families and kids were being killed in the streets. Where was Joe Biden? Nobody cared. Where were all the people? Where's the public? Where's all the Muslims? I talk about the Duca brothers who were locked up for life by Chris Christie and his regime for terrorism. They never heard a hair on anybody's head. But yet you got 1,400 people that were slaughtered, raped, killed, and you got people chanting for Hamas. They don't even realize LGBTQ, they'll kill them the first day they're there, Hamas. Hamas don't believe women should be able to talk. They don't believe they should wear skirts. So all these dumb little college kids that are running around entitled don't even understand the rules of Hamas. They wouldn't be able to show their hair. They wouldn't be able to, their opinions don't mean anything. They couldn't get on a motorcycle with another guy. They couldn't get in a car without a man being in it. I could go on with rules. They don't have any freedoms. They're suppressing and suffocating the Palestinian people. And the Hamas leaders are living in $1 million houses and billions of dollars they're sending on themselves and living in Qatar, whatever way you want to say the word. And so this is nonsense manipulation by our government too, because they're playing both ends of the stick. They're funding Iran, who's funding Hamas and Hezbollah.
And that just happened. Like, that was just weeks before the attacks, like where you found like these guys just gave them billions of dollars to Iran, and now they're supporting Hamas and this whole Israel thing. So it's like, it's not like it's a conspiracy theory. Well, it's out there.
They're doing it again. They're separating and dividing. You got Biden giving money to both sides. He's really in the background. He's trying to manipulate. These guys are warmongers. That's why I like Trump. There was no war. There was Middle East peace. There was no war with Russia. There was peace. So
there was no BRICS.
This is just another manipulation of people dying because of government making money off of whatever it is, whether it's oil, whether it's religion, whether it's just these government using people as chess games. And if you really cared about the Palestinian people, which they don't, if they really cared about them, they would talk openly about what the problem is and get rid of Hamas, whose control has the Palestinian people under their thumb. And no good Muslim, and I come from a Muslim family. My father's name was Muhammad. My grandmother was Fatima. My uncle was Salam. And my grandfather was Ali. So I come from a Muslim family, for the people that don't know. This isn't good. Muslims don't kill, don't want to kill, never would accept the rape of a woman or of a child or any of the things that are going on, or kidnapping of hostages. And if they really wanted something, and anybody that's chanting out in the street, they should be holding hands, the Palestinian Israel people, and demand Hamas to give back those 240 hostages and cease fire. And maybe something would happen then. But that's not what George Soros's agenda is. And that's who's funding this.
Yeah. Taking a little bit of a shift, we always ask the following question. I don't think we really got to talking about faith as much with you on our first interview. I think we just asked you about God, but with respects to heaven or hell. First of all, do you believe in heaven or hell? And if you do, where do you think you will go when the time for you to go is here?
At one time when I didn't believe in God and have faith, I believe I would have went to hell. My life's changed. I believe in God. I talk about God a lot. I talk about religion. I'm not perfect. I lose my temper like I always did, but I don't react like I used to. Faith-driven is reasons, I guess, that I lost my daughter, and maybe one day I'll find that out from God. He has a plan. I should have been dead 10 times over. Guys try to kill me. I've been, like I said before, I've been stabbed up, I've been shot, I've been hit by cars, I've been battered, I've been left for dead. Guys attempted to kill me numerous times, shot at. I'm alive for a reason. Maybe those bullets didn't hit for a reason. Maybe this was one of the reasons that to go out politically, to help kids, to bring awareness to the street life, to talk to my friends from the inner cities of Chicago, south side of Chicago. I got some friends. My friend just came home, believes in God like me, serious guy. Say hello to Reese. He's driven by faith in God and turned his life around. And there's a lot of guys like him. Maybe when we get together, we can make a difference and save some lives. And hopefully that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Nice. Was there a pivotal moment in your life where you said, you know what, I'm here for a reason and I need to give back and I want to help make sure these young kids don't get into what I went into in the life? Was there like a exact moment in your life when that happened?
Yeah, I think, when I finally woke up, I went on a run. You guys know I went on a run for a year and about 4 months. I sat in those penitentiaries in Brazil. I spent millions of dollars on attorneys and investigators, and a lot of my family had to get attorneys for also. They were brought in. And when I was doing that and I left my family, the mob turned on me. They betrayed me. They were all making excuses and deals with the FBI and why they were meeting them and what information they gave and why they gave. They all knew the rules. And it wasn't one or two of them. There was 60. There were several crime families that gave me up. Captain open court said that I was the killer, I was the shooter, I was the rogue loose cannon. No different words than that. Just did the Netflix on how to be a mob boss about John Gotti, and Sammy Gravano called John a rogue, and same thing, those same words they use for him. This is when someone and people want to blame their lifestyle on another individual to get out from under whatever their problems are. So when those indictments came, and I came back to the United States and found out that I lost all my money trying to protect an organization that's betraying me, I think that woke me up. And then as I sat in solitary confinements, which I did years in, I started to understand that there's got to be a different way, a different life. I made a mistake my whole life, believed in nonsense, and I said, I got to make sure that another kid doesn't do what I did. And it opened my eyes to go talk to kids. And, people thought at first I was just doing it because, I was on parole and different things. And when I continued with it, doing talks in jail systems, to second chance programs, to different police academies, to trouble kids, I think everybody realized, wow, this guy's serious.
So how do you want to be remembered when you go out? What's your legacy? John Alite's legacy?
My legacy is, listen, I can't regret my whole life. I could just say it was a learning experience for the good and the bad. And so I did some bad things, obviously. I shot dozens of people. I mean, you can't take that away. I hurt a lot of people, and I believed in what I was doing at the time. So I want my legacy to be the last, 15 years, what I've been doing. Advocating. I'm an activist for the inner city. Save them from a life of crime in jail. And hopefully talk kids that have drug troubles and drug problems into jumping on in my bandwagon now of no violence. If you want to be violent, you want to fight, you want to let out aggression, get in a ring with some of the guys we talked about earlier from the UFC, MMA, boxing world, train, let out any aggression you want in a positive way. But in a negative way, I see some of these kids, they're such fucking cowards. They're learning from shitty people that are teaching them the wrong thing. They got no respect for some of the elderly. They got no respect for people's businesses. They got no respect for themselves. The way they jump 4 or 5 people or blindside somebody, and they're yelling and whistling like that's a tough guy. in their hearts, they know only cowards do those things. And if they really wanted to be a tough guy, you'd get in a ring. Like Al or some of these guys I just talked about.
Do you ever think, now that you're out of the life, do you ever look back and kind of regret or, feel sorry about any of the people that you've, shot? Or were those guys all kind of like, they were in it, they knew what they're in it for, and they kind of had it coming, or?
No, I don't make excuses for that. I mean, listen, they were in the life just like me. And that still doesn't justify any of us for what we do. We take each other's lives. We ruin families. We ruin our own family. We're hurting a lot of people. And all of us, and the guys that are still in the life, they believe in it. For whatever reason, just like me, they believe in it. And you don't have no dignity in that life. You have no character in that life. When you step out and out of it, if it was such a fucking good life, everybody will recruit their kids to go in that life. So they know the life's no good. They know it's a treachery. They know everybody's full of shit. They know everybody's about for themselves. It's a life that is just individually for you to make money, for power, for individual strength. It has nothing to do with being loyal to a group. It's not like going to church and you're with some good people and they're talking about how to help each other, or if you go to a therapy meeting, group meetings, they're all trying to legitimately help each other. In this life, you turn your back, they shoot you in the head, steal your money. You turn your back, they take your wife. You turn your back, they're doing something to manipulate you, to maneuver you, to kill another guy. There's nothing positive in that life. And, listen, I did it. And history is history. I can't change it. I'm very outspoken. You guys know that about what I did and what other guys did, because history's got to be true. And they can't turn history around the way they talk about John Gotti also. That none of these guys, or 3/4 of them didn't know him like me. They didn't live in his house. They didn't go with him everywhere. They weren't, and now they badmouth him. But the guy believed in the life, no different than I did at one time. He just died believing in a life. And now that, he's gone, you got people like Sammy that throw him under the bus. They blame everything on him. And there's guys like me that know Sammy's full of shit, completely full of shit. The more I hear him talk, the more I know he's a fucking, just a liar, knowing what he's known for.
Do you feel like you have an obligation when you hear someone saying something that's not true? Do you feel like you have like a moral obligation to call it out because you were in that life, like you were with John, you were closer to John than Sammy was, like you claim? So when you hear Sammy saying something, do you feel obligated, like you gotta just let people know like that's bullshit, or you want to call him out on it?
Yeah,
because you're obviously really like fired up about it, right?
I wish he was my age before, because he talks like a tough guy. So jump in the ring, buddy. Because you're just full of shit about everything you do. Even Teddy Atlas said he couldn't fight. The guy's just a bullshit artist. They killed DB because he borrowed $250,000 off him. He was in the porn business with the guy. So, and he blames John. Angelo went to see him, and he said it on Netflix too. He went to see him, and he was talking about John ordered the hit. And even when John gets caught on those tapes upstairs in the Ravenite, John's airing exactly the truth. He didn't tell him to kill this guy. He didn't tell him to kill that guy. Sammy did what he always did. He has a reputation of being a weasel and fucking every guy around him, along with that young kid, Alan Kaiser, at 15 or 16. They killed him, and he blames everybody else. This is not a gangster. This is a poor kid walking his girlfriend home that witnessed the murder. He's just a scumbag, to be honest with you. I says, and the guy, I hear these dummies on my feeds, and he was the underboss, he was that. And I'll say it very simply, like I always say, and to let somebody answer this. Well, it's like Kamala Harris is a VP too. And she's a moron, no different than him. She's useless, no different than he was. And if he's this tough guy, you're not carrying umbrellas. He's full of shit. This is the problem. He's changing history because of his title. His title don't mean shit to most guys.
So I want to continue on that path, but why do you think then, because you were kind of a different era, right?
I'm a little younger, yeah.
Right.
I'm about Sammy's. I'm about 20 years younger than him, something like that.
So is there ever like a chance that what you're saying is true, what he's saying is true,
no,
what someone else is saying is true, like it's different perspectives?
No, there's no difference. The facts are facts. Here's a fact. He's got an AB tattoo written on him. He's a fucking racist. His daughter, who was a friend of mine, who I like, and I hate saying this because I said it somewhere else, because it's her father, I know she's going to want to protect him. But she was dating a black guy or another black guy, and she had a baby. And he was a racist towards that guy. That guy, whoever he is, knows that. She knows what her father really was. And then she had a baby and he had no choice to change what he said because it's his granddaughter now. Nice girl, beautiful girl, intelligent, but he's a fucking racist. He wouldn't have put that AB tattoo on him. He knows what it stands for when he did it when he was in prison. That's first. Second, it's not from the real ABs. These are the guys that were already cooperated. So if he really went to a real joint where real ABs were, they chop his body apart. They'll take that and rip it off his skin. So the guy's just a weak liar, and he just tries to bullshit everybody about a lot of things. And he says, I can go through it, quickly. He killed a kid. He only shot one guy. He's not this killer he said he is. He's an AB, or he tried to be a fake AB, where they're racist. He was in the porn business, child pornography, with DB, and he had him killed later on. He betrayed him. He betrayed Louis Melito, who saved his life. He betrayed John Gotti. He betrayed me. He betrayed the Gambino family. He betrayed his brother-in-law and set him up to be killed. He betrayed everybody in his fucking life. This is factual. This is just not my opinion. Just go through everybody. He betrayed the lady that was just on a Netflix show with the other Netflix show,
The gay guy,
Andrea, betrayed her husband. He's betrayed everybody. He betrayed Joey D'Angelo, Spanky was the father that stayed with Sam. He betrayed him. He betrayed his other guys in his crew. He's not a tough guy. He ran to Arizona, right? These are all facts. He's in witness protection in Arizona. He ain't here with the rest of us. He left $500,000 on the street that Big Louie took from. I thought you were a gangster to the day you die. Well, go get your $500,000, you fucking coward. He's a deadbeat. He borrowed $3,000 from me. In his own words, he said he borrowed it. So pay it back. Why doesn't he pay it back? Why doesn't somebody ask him? Why the fuck don't you pay that money back? What's his excuse? He had 90 fucking operations on his face. Because he's a narcissistic fucking weird guy. He's not 30 years old, 40 years old. He's not a woman. What is all the operations on your face from? The guy's just, everything about him, he's full of shit. And the more I hear him talk about Gotti, he don't hardly know the guy. He only knew him a couple of years. So when he says he set up the murder, no, he didn't. He didn't set up shit. Gotti had his own guy set it up. And he could say what he wants. I know he didn't set it up.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Sammy supporters are probably going to comment saying, how does this guy know all this? How does he know so much about Sammy's life? Did you guys ever interact in the life?
I know. I seen Sammy. He's at the club, but how do I know this? Because I was around Gotti. I'm picking up Gotti out of court. I'm walking out of Gotti's house on video. I'm walking out of the Raven night on several videos. I'm in their wedding, his daughter's wedding. That's how I know. I lived in his house. There's enough guys can confirm all this. So Sammy came from nowhere. John used him later on when Frankie the Chico got blown up. And then here's the biggest thing. When he keeps telling everybody he's a killer, right? After Frankie gets blown up, that's his best friend. Did you retaliate? No, because you're a fucking coward. When Eddie Lino gets killed, right? By the cops at Polito and Caracappa, did you retaliate? No, because you're a fucking coward. When Bobby Borriello gets killed in front of his children in Brooklyn, did you retaliate? No, because you're a fucking coward. When Joey Scopa, who's basically the acting boss of a faction of the Colombo family around the Gottis, when he gets killed, did you do anything? No, because you're a fucking coward. He's going to say, oh, I was in jail. Well, you said you got the pull. You're an underboss. Why couldn't you get somebody to hit him? When you were in jail with John Gotti, did you kill him or did you rat? No, you didn't kill him because you're a fucking coward. You carried his umbrella. You wouldn't even go near the guy. You were petrified. When I could keep naming guys that got killed in our crew, and he did nothing about it. So you're that big killer. Who'd you kill? You killed your friends. You killed your business partners. You didn't kill them anyway. You killed a young boy. But you just set them up to walk into a car somewhere, to walk in a house somewhere. You're a fucking weasel. I don't know what I'm giving you facts. I'm not telling you anything. Well, if you killed somebody that killed Frankie the Chico, let us know who it was. If you killed anybody that killed Bobby Broyer, let us know who it was. You were petrified a gas pipe. You talk shit against the guy because he's dead, number one. But when he was on the street, you didn't you shit yourself to see him. When Roy DeMeo and those guys were on the street, you didn't go near them either. When the Westies were on there, you didn't go near them. This guy that shot the gun once. not dozens of times.
So can I just jump in there? Like, why is it that when we noticed this from our first interview with you, why is it that like you take so much heat on social media?
You just said it. I'm going to stop you there. These are fucking TV fucking guys that play with Nintendo. These ain't gangsters. Gangsters that don't go online.
He plays Nintendo.
Did you write me one of those stupid messages?
I promise I did.
Because you're in my house.
I promise I did. Remember when he told you we'll come into his house?
So, these are fanboys. They think they're part of the life by rioting. And if it's a real killer, trust me, there's a lot of guys that probably want to kill me. But they're not going to type me. They're going to write like idiots. They know the life. They know everything I'm saying is true. And anybody that knows Gotti, they can say what the fuck they want. I could be mad at Gotti at times and say things. I grew up with him. He was kind of like a father figure to me. I worked for him. I hurt people for him. I shot people for him. I killed people. These guys, during the trials, they blamed the murders on me and his father. Somebody get the court minutes. So I can say it honestly, because I really cared about the guy, loved the guy, died for the guy. This guy doesn't know him. Gotti knew he was a piece of shit. Gotti wanted to kill him, and Gotti would have got me to kill him eventually. And if I stayed friends with the Gottis over the years, when we were having differences, I would have went to Arizona and killed that fucking guy. No problem. I says, and he's lucky he didn't get killed because my friend Fat Sal set that up. We was going to kill him. I said, so, and he left his back door of his pizzeria open. So it was getting done. They just got caught on tapes and different things. And, if you had more of if me and Fat Sal did it together, he would be dead. Because we didn't need nobody else. Fat Sal's very smart. He would have exactly what he did. He would have set it all up. I would have walked in and killed him. And he's just a big mouth. That's why he's living in Arizona. These are facts. When someone says, was he in the porn business? Yes, go Google it. Did he kill any of these guys I'm talking about? No. Did he do anything to kill John Gotti when he was young? No. Did you blame John Gotti for everything, you fucking weasel? Yeah. Did you do it to all of us? Everybody's fault but Sammy's. You blamed everybody for everything but Sammy. And if you got to have $1 million on the street, you fucking coward, go get it. Big Louie ain't a tough guy. He's a nice guy, but he ain't a tough guy. Why don't you get your money?
What would you do if you ran into Sammy somewhere?
He's too old. What are you going to do? You can't slap him or I'd be a coward.
No, let's say he came up to you and was like, hey, let's bury everything. Let's shake hands.
Yeah.
What would you do?
I don't want to
be honest.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't want to shake his hand, but I'll go on anybody's show and I'll abuse him in front of anybody. Anybody, because there's too much to abuse him about. It was just what I ran through. This guy's a fraud. He sells that nonsense about a title. I want to tell you something. Meyer Lansky was a Jew. He was one of the most influential guys in the mob. He had no title. All right, Bugsy Siegel was a mad dog killer. He had no title. Jimmy Burke, he had no title. He talks about Joe Watts. He's scared shit of Joe Watts. He shit himself for Joe Watts. Joe Watts was a legitimate tough guy. You want to call the guy and say, I was going to kill him? You're going to kill everybody. Sammy killed nobody. So he was a German. These guys that are writing this dumb shit don't know anything because I travel the world. I got people in every country from every mob. Doesn't matter whether it's Danish, whether it's Greek, whether it's Italian. I know people around the world, Colombian, Brazil. I've been everywhere. I was in serious penitentiaries, not like this guy tells everybody he's an ADX. He was an ADX. There's another lie. He was in the rat unit of ADX. He wasn't in it. He wasn't on a compound nowhere. Nobody could get near him. I said, this guy, I was in one of the worst penitentiaries in the world in Brazil. And all those guys that was in a penitentiary, we all stay together still. We all meet still in Europe. We all travel together. We all talk together. From the UK to Italy to Turkey to Greece to Spain to Brazil. We're all friends. So unlike this guy, I was in a legitimate fucking war zones of a prison. That's unheard of what you see in this country.
So like in the Mafia, like let's say maid guys had to resolve a problem, they'd have a sit down, and figure it out. But like there's no chance of some sort of peace here. There's no chance, like for real, any kind of peace. What's it gonna take?
First he owes me $3,000. I want him to answer that to somebody. Why isn't he paying that? And there's another thing. He did 45 minutes talking about me. What a gangster he is. What a tough guy he is. He would have been a boss. He would have been a captain or a boss or more, he's a businessman, he's a tough guy, he's a killer, he's a shooter, he's a mafioso.
Sammy was saying this about you.
Yeah, it's on my Patreon for people that want to check. 45 minutes. Not 5 minutes, not 2 minutes, not 3 minutes, 45-minute rants. So, but it doesn't matter what the idiot says. I'm just trying to show you how this guy's just full of shit of everything he does and says. And, he's a calculating fuck. He puts a record up on his wall of the hit of Paul Castellano. You didn't hit Paul Castellano. You didn't pull that trigger. You're the pussy that was down the block, 5 blocks away, wherever you claim you were. And nobody knows if that's true or not. It's just his bullshit story. But if you listen to the rest of his bullshit story, he doesn't tell you before they got pinched in 90 where they got the information or get pinched. Came from me. I gave it to John because I had the cop that works for me, Phil Baroni, who got it from Joe Coffey, who was going to go on that arrest. So when these guys are talking nonsense, he just talks nonsense. When John Gotti was what he was. Just like I say about Donald Trump. Like him or leave him, he was who he was. But Sammy, no. You're full of shit. John knew exactly what you were and you were going to go. And if you wanted to be that tough guy, you had every opportunity to be that tough guy. You went in prison with him. And then he lied about the Louis DeBono murder. He had nothing to do with it. I was involved in that murder. He lied about everything about it. He doesn't even know we changed hit teams. So he said Frankie Loke liked him. Frankie Loke hated him. He put him in jail for life. I was helping Frankie try to get an appeal.
So what would you say to all of Sammy's fans that are probably watching this right now and, for them, they're defending Sammy, right? Because they're on his side. What would you say to them? Because I feel like you probably want to help them see the light, see the truth, right? For what he is. What would you say to those guys that believe in Sammy and what he did?
No, you're wrong. I don't give a fuck if they see the light or not. I could give a fuck about these idiots. I'll tell you the truth. The nice guys don't write like that. The idiots, I would tell them, go through each thing I just said. Defend it from. Was he in the porn business? Yes or no? Defend it. Did he kill Alan Kaiser, the 60-year-old? Yes or no? Does he have 500,000 on the street? Yes or no? Did he retaliate against all these killings of our guys? Yes or no? I can keep going. You live in Arizona? Yes or no? So it's simple. I'm not giving you my opinion. I'm giving you factual things one at a time. The guy's a punk. The guy's he shot somebody, I believe it was 1977. And lastly, I want these guys to ask him, who did you shoot? When did you shoot him? When was the last time you shot somebody? Since you're a tough guy. And shooting somebody doesn't make you such a tough guy, don't get me wrong. But put yourself in danger is the tough guy. When you're out there getting stabbed up like I did, because I put myself in bad situations. I don't run around like him and hide. So I'm vulnerable for guys to come after me. And I know that, but that's part of this life if you're going to really live it. If you want to be a faker, you do what he does. Him, Joe Messina, I can run through all the bosses. They all go hide. Why is that? It's very simple. Ask these fanboys, why do they all hide after the life's over? If they're so tough, if they're such killers, if they're such gangsters, they want to throw a title at you, he should be sitting next to Kamala Harris somewhere. He's a fucking clown.
So what about with when Sammy first was testifying against John? I think they gave him WITSEC for a bit, and then he came out of WITSEC. He said he didn't want to do WITSEC. He had money or whatever.
He's full of shit.
And then he came on, and then why wouldn't he just stay in WITSEC? If he was scared, someone might ask that, right?
He did stay in WITSEC. He's full of shit. He stayed in Arizona, and then he felt safe because he's in another state. The life and time changed. Technology changed. He didn't come back to Brooklyn. He loves Brooklyn. He doesn't travel out of the country. He came to meet me. He brought 6 armed guards when he came to meet me. What are you so scared of? You're a killer. You're a tough guy. Why'd you bring 6 armed guards to come see me? He came to see me with another guy that used to be a wise guy. Why'd you come see us with armed guards? Why wouldn't you leave the building? He wouldn't come to the street with us. He wanted to stay inside the building with his armed security. He's a fucking coward. There's nothing to say. And what are you living in Arizona for? You keep telling everybody you love Brooklyn. You tell everybody you're going to be a gangster to the day you die. Really? You're going to be a gangster? Hide. Come move back to Brooklyn and maybe I'll cut you a little slack.
So we have a new segment that we do with our guest where we just read some negative YouTube comments. And we did that with Sammy. He was the first one. And one of them on Sammy's video was about you, someone who really liked you, a fan of yours. I think it was a chick. I hope it wasn't a guy, because the comment was something along the lines of Sammy's just jealous of John because John is better looking and he says something like this. So yeah, I hope it was a chick.
Well,
I don't know if it
everybody's
was
better than Sammy. Look at the way he looks.
So-
he looks like that guy. What's that movie with the kids show? With the, you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah, you know, you were ready to say it.
trying to think.
It's that kid movie where they have the monsters and whatever. I can't think of the name of the movie.
But so we asked Sammy though that, like, we read that comment and he said, well, it's true. He looks better than me because he's younger. He's younger than me. He says that, but, and I'm only going to say this wasn't planned. Him and I didn't talk about this, but Sam, it's going to come out in the interview, and I don't want to get a phone call from you afterwards. So I want to give you a chance to respond. These are not my words. These are Sammy's words. This hasn't aired yet on our channel, but he goes, but I have a bigger dick than him. That's what he said about you. So do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I'm going to respond.
I don't want you to, how would you like to respond
I'm
to
going
that?
to respond to it. This is what kind of jerk-off he is. To even at his age to say something stupid like a child, this is what I'm trying to say. I could give a fuck about whatever his personal fucking dick size is or not. These are like ridiculous child. That's why I said he's a narcissistic jerk-off. Because that comes out of a 15-year-old high school kid, not a fucking gangster that was supposed to be reputable. But the truth is he's not reputable. The only thing he has is this, and I'm going to say something else. You guys know I travel the world, everywhere. Why doesn't he travel anywhere? Before or now? He's just a neighborhood, dumb, uneducated clown. He's a fucking jerk-off. He can't make 2 cents. Even this, I got him in. I brought him his lawyer. I got him in his genre. I did everything for him. He's a fucking dummy. He's reading off a prompter. The guy's just, he's lucky he's got a little team that's intelligent, because he certainly isn't. And that comment that says it itself. I'm not going to stoop to saying something as dumb as this idiot that says at this age.
We just thought we'd give you a chance to respond.
I could give it. The guy's a dummy.
Because if my phone rang after the video aired, I'd
He's
be
a
like,
classless dummy. Who's going to say that?
That, and also we have to say this, we weren't laughing at what he said, because we were laughing in the interview, but we weren't laughing at what he said. We were just laughing because we did not expect him to say something like that. So just want to put that out there.
See, this
because we have a lot of respect for you, so we just want to put that out there.
You guys don't know him. I expect something as stupid as that from him. That's my whole point about the guy. He just made it for me.
Yeah.
Should we read some comments from our last interview with John?
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's read some. These are past YouTube comments for the last video we did with you online. So we're just going to read some comments. Again, this is not our opinions of you at all. This is just some of our audience.
I'll answer for each one as you read them.
Okay, sounds good. So the first one, this doesn't even make sense, but John Alite should star in Mob Wives.
And we're not going to read the names from who says this.
No, you can.
For their protection.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. The guy that writes that is only a coward. I'm going to go through the same thing. They're going to write like this because they're cowards. Real men don't write this. A guy from the street, and I'll go back to the guys we're talking about, are fighters. You think they're going to waste their time if they like me or not and write a dumb fucking... That's such a kid cunt kind of comment. That's what you expect from them. So it doesn't justify an answer because this is what you're dealing with. And they don't see themselves like that's what's wrong with these guys that write like this. They're too stupid to see themselves that they talk like this.
Because I don't think they'd ever say that to you in your face. I don't think any of these guys would have the balls to say that to your face.
Listen, anybody that says that just believes that, listen, he's not going to kill nobody. He's not going to hurt nobody anymore. So they're going to talk like this. But no real man will talk like this. A real tough guy don't talk like this. And that says it all.
I feel like, I forgot who it was. I was saying it in our past interview. Might have been Frankie Steele. I can't remember.
Frankie's a nice guy, by the way.
Yeah. If, let's say, for example, if someone left a YouTube comment, you could click on their name and it would show their address. They wouldn't leave any type of comments like these.
A guy wrote on my thing. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. 2 months ago, and he wrote some nonsense, and he had a lot of followers.
Okay.
So I put a thing up. Find him for me. Anybody that knows where he is. You know what he did, right? He reported me. He went to the police. He did this.
Oh, no way.
But you were a tough guy for a while on that thing. And I told him, you made one mistake. You got a couple hundred, whatever he had, a couple of thousand or a couple 100,000, I don't remember, of following. I said, so it's easy to find him. Once you start putting your picture up with, 100 posts, I'll find you if I want to find you. So I told everybody, find him for me. And then he changed his attitude.
And then he changed his attitude.
And he reported me, and then he reported me to the police. And, this is what you get from these guys.
they can't ever do anything to you because you could just say, I wanted to send them a gift, right? That's why I wanted people to find this address. a good cover up.
You don't got to do nothing to them. It's just, it's good enough for them to know that you know where they are.
Exactly. Okay, I got the second one here. So John Alite was a wannabe gangster, never part of any family, legend in his own mind. Bullshit.
I don't know. You guys tell me. Is it bullshit? I don't know. Maybe
sounds like bullshit.
Okay, I'll answer that too. So, and not that I'm answering him. I'm going to answer the rest of the public that's watching this. I was on America's Most Wanted. I was caught by Interpol in Brazil, and there's a video out that the Interpol head of Interpol says about me. Listen to what he says. And when the government chased me around and spent millions of dollars, I guess the government didn't know what they were doing either, right? They just wanted to chase me because they didn't like the way I looked. So these are ridiculous comments.
All right, this one. This guy is full of it. He was not even a made guy, which is surely the qualification needed to talk about the life.
Again, these are guys that play video games, and I just went through every nationality, and I got a ton of black friends. I like to get that guy in front of them and tell them they're not gangsters. They can't talk about any of this because they're not Italian and not made. So that same guy, we wouldn't even have to touch him. We bring him in a room, he'll start pissing on himself. So these are punk kids. Nobody talks like this.
All right, last one. And by the way,
I wish we could put their face or address up, just so they move.
And we had so many positive comments too, but no one. No,
I don't like the positive ones because those are the nice guys. These are the jerk-offs. I like these comments because I just like to abuse them anyway. They're all like Rambo idiots.
I don't really know how much the guy has lied and how much he has told the truth. I've heard he definitely was a tough guy, but he blows it up out of proportion, acting like he knew Gotti Sr. and did things for him. So I just think it's somewhere in the middle. He was a tough guy, but I definitely don't think he was involved at all close to what he says, like him knowing about the Castellano hit and everything.
So the guy, he's trying to be half-assed gentleman. So for his benefit, I just told you about Interpol. I just told you about the FBI. They need to talk to some of the FBIs that do interviews that say exactly what I say is true. And when they say specifically, I want to know what they're never specific with me. I went through this already. I say names of who I shot. I say names of who I hurt. I say locations. I'm picking up John Gotti Sr. from jail. So for him to say that, I'm in his daughter's wedding. His son's my best man at my wedding. I'm at the Ravenite with him. There's enough videos. So either he's just not well informed and he doesn't follow this, and I don't think he really meant it in a really bad way, someone like these other guys, but he doesn't know any better. And, for the rest of it, I guess there's enough history. And now I'll go a little further. The captain is Mikey Scars de Leonardo. He's made enough comments and said that I was involved in all the jury tampering. I was involved meeting the boss of the Genovese family, trying to settle a war with the Colombo family in the early 90s. He said I was very violent. He said I was around the Gottis. He testified against me. Ronnie One-Arm Trucchio is a captain in the Gambino family. He said I'm a loose cannon and a rogue, and that he's afraid I'd kill him if he's not nice to me. And guys that I shot actually talked on my behalf, said he'd seen captains answer to me. So when he goes through all that stuff, and then he can get back to us again. And there's enough FBI agents out doing talks that go ask them to.
Fair enough.
And
thank you.
and I'm in the neighborhood, right? And I'm alive. So, they can answer that too.
We'll go. So we have another thing we do. Would you rather? So would you rather, we'll give you a couple options and you choose. So would you rather have the ability to go back in time and change one thing about your past, or have a glimpse into your future?
No, I'd rather go in my past and change.
What would you change?
A whole life. I want to went into this world.
Because, some guys we've interviewed, I don't regret it. I don't regret it. Or, I would have still been hustling if I was young. They say this. Would you?
Well, the guys that say it, I don't know who say it. I mean, maybe they have no confidence in themselves. As I got older, I was more confident. I'm intelligent. I had a school education. I had a baseball full ride scholarship. I was a fighter when I was young. I was past the Series 7. I would have went into something legitimate, whether it's a political, a lawyer, an engineer. There's too much in the world. You could have did a trade. So I think the guys that are saying that don't have enough confidence in themselves.
Fair enough. Would you rather have a chance at a clean slate with society, no questions asked, or continue to share your story and experiences that you have openly with the public like you're doing now?
You can't change your life, so I think a clean slate and use everything I did in a positive way to help younger guys now and girls away from drugs and away from crime. It's fulfilling, actually, to know that you can help some people. You're going to get people say, well, we talk about this genre. To get anybody to listen to what I have to say on the negative, on the good stuff, I got to give them the negative stuff. I got to give them the 80% they're interested in to be able to sell them the 20% about changing their life. So.
Well, hey, Netflix is doing it. Netflix is doing it. They're making money off of your guys' stories, right? And they do it in a way that almost glorifies it.
Yeah, listen, we all are in this genre to make money. You got to make a living. We're not gangsters anymore, but you also got to do something positive and try to help some people. And I try to do both, make money in this genre and also a positive message. And I'm not lying to them. I'm just being honest with them. Yeah. If you follow some of these guys, if you follow a guy like Sammy, he's full of shit. I'm pointing it out. And then he's going to glorify it so the next kid follows into this bullshit. But really, everything he says is a fucking lie. And again, let's challenge him one step at a time, because they never answer one step at a time. I always try to get somebody to say, if you think I'm bullshitting, stop me where I'm bullshitting and tell me, and then we'll answer it. And then you can get to the bottom of it. But nobody ever does that. Same thing that I just gave about Sammy. If they could tell me where I'm not telling the truth about something, stop us and be specific.
And last one for me on the would you rather. So would you rather have a sit down with Adolf Hitler or Jesus Christ?
Oh, 100% Jesus Christ.
Yeah? Why?
Because I want to understand the world. I want to understand what happened to my daughter. I want to understand why I went in the wrong direction. And the future's really not important to me. It's right now, present, my life, how I can continue. Because it's like, I tell everybody, it's like an alcoholic or a drug addict or anything else. You need to each day get by each day, controlling yourself, not to let like one of these trolls ever make you lose your temper to do something stupid and ruin your life. Because the biggest thing is I learned is about if I don't maintain my composure because of my ego, it's like suicide if I hurt one of these guys again that talk like idiots. Because this was an everyday thing for me. It was easy for me to hurt them. There's nothing's changed. It's my DNA. It's just that I want a different life for myself and for all the kids I'm trying to help. If I can't do it, how am I going to expect them to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a role model now for those kids, right? So you have to definitely live up to that standard now.
I hope so.
That you raised up for yourself, which is an amazing thing. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to shift also gears to our next segment where I just ask you some rapid fire questions. And then, let's go through it right now.
Right.
Okay. So first question is, who's the most memorable person that you've met in your life of crime besides John Gotti? Because that's usually what a lot of people say.
I'd say Johnny Cornelia.
Johnny Cornelia. Okay. And number 2, can you name one thing that you miss about the old life?
The excitement. I'm into the adrenaline rush.
The partying and the going out.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, it's an adrenaline rush. The way we moved around, the excitement, putting your life on the line on a constant basis. It's like somebody jumps out of a plane. They do it for the adrenaline and the excitement. Me, I'm scared of that. So I found
not that kind of excitement.
I've seen too many where the parachute does not open.
2 parachutes didn't open.
Yeah, I'm not going to take that chance.
Okay. And number 3, can you name one thing you're glad to leave behind?
In a bad way or a good way that I'm glad to leave behind?
Like in something that was bad that you didn't really, something that you kind of regret, that you're able to leave behind now.
Killing. It's, when you're in that life, it just comes too easy. You start killing guys when they say something wrong, when you think they're a threat. It just becomes an easy thing to do if you're doing that.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like a lot of other people that were in the life, maybe not a lot of them, but some of them have said, they don't really regret killing those people that they killed because those people were also in the life, so they knew what they signed up for and they kind of had it coming to them. What do you think about that?
No, I see that perspective, but we put ourselves in that life. So I regret the life. So I regret the killing.
Yeah.
And, in your mind, things don't change. Like when these guys write this, the old me honestly would have hunted them down. And guys that really know me know I would have got at least one or two of them, because once you do that, the rest know about it, and
they fall in line.
Again. Yeah, because they know it's coming.
Yeah.
It is, but that's a crazy way to live.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And then the last one, what's the biggest misconception that you think people have about you that you'd want to clear up right now?
I don't know. I think they think that you don't, you're kind of heartless towards because of what I used to do for a living. But, that's not true. It's just a life that we compartmentalize. We put in a little, I didn't say that word. Right, I stumbled.
Compartmentalize. I don't even.
Yeah.
Compartmentalize. Yeah.
And that's our way of justifying it and living through that life, because it's just not, like I said, it's a bad life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to share any final comments or any, maybe you want to tell us about that new show, How to Be a Mob Boss?
I just did the magazine, Life magazine in Germany. I'm the cover of that magazine. Some of the things I've been doing, that came out last month. I'm doing a new movie called Pony. It's about race car driving.
I saw that on your Instagram. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, and the reason they came to me about it was because of fentanyl, and the script involves a young girl that gets poisoned by fentanyl. So I wanted to bring awareness. It was one of the reasons I agreed to the movie. I read the script first. It's a motion picture. It's not a documentary. And some of the kids I work with, organizations, veterans. I'm a lot of my friends are veterans, so I got a lot of respect for them. So I'm very outspoken again about the illegal immigrants that come to this country, and they're being housed and fed and different things because of the election. Actually, it's election interference by our government now that break every rules and throw out homeless, 880,000, by the way, in the street, Americans, and 44,000 veterans in the street, 125,000 orphanage kids that they don't feed, clothe, or house. And now the people that do want to migrate here can't, because there's too many illegals coming here. So they got it ass backwards, and they didn't do it for the people because they're being tortured, killed, raped, trafficked. So it's not for the illegal immigrants either. It's just for the power of that party that Joe Biden's trying to run like a dictatorship communist regime. So how people don't get out there more and get involved politically is beyond me, because like I said earlier, it's all our kids and grandkids are going to have to pay this price and fight the $33 trillion in debt. Who's going to pay that? So,
any final words for our audience from you?
Yeah, be political, be pro-America. That doesn't mean you hate other countries. I love Albania. I'm a patriot for Albanians. I love our country. I love where we come. Everybody can love where they come from, Palestine, Israel, whatever. But the division of hate is our governments are influencing that for the new world order and the forced agenda of vaccines and everything else that they're forcing. People got to wake up and see what they're trying to do. Hitler started off slowly too, but if you see what they're doing, they're slowly taking people's rights. They need to get involved in more political and political things and take control of their families and their kids.
Awesome. All right. John Alite, thank you so much. You've been a gentleman.
Thanks, guys.
You had us into your home. We really appreciate it. And this was awesome. This was an amazing interview. So.
Yeah, don't play me in pool.
No, I don't want to play.
We'll work on the third interview now.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks again.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a pleasure. Thank you.